Alright, this will be an interior kind of walk around of my '04 Grand Prix that's for sale. I just wanted to highlight some of the things on the interior that are either standard or what I've added. So you know that if you're reading the description, that you hopefully better understand what the heck I'm talking about. Quick shot of what we're at right now today. This is my daily driver, so that'll only go up from this point on. While we're at this point, get a flashlight on here. But if you do any research on Grand Prix or know nothing about it, that's why I'm going to kind of talk to you like basically that you don't know any stuff. Grab another, pause it quick and grab another light. There you go. Now you can actually see something. This is the 5-button, they call it the DIC, Digital Information Center. This came with a 3 button, which usually would be just a 3. The 5 is not a standard. What you get with here is trip A, trip B, average speed, time if you're timing something, and then that. Middle button 0 to clear messages or other things in menu. I gets you through the menu of setting up junk. As you did see, you can... Thought it was here. Oh, that part right there was the date. This actually, you can keep track of the month and the date. The problem is, though, when you don't have the factory radio in, that's where the memory for that is kept in the factory. So if you do anything aftermarket, it's not kept up there, which la-di-da, I usually know what day it is. What you get with the 2 outside buttons in that I added, the fuel symbol, you get the range, average economy, instant economy, just the range and even the instant, especially the range. Beyond, I think, is important, because if you're always going by the gas gauge, why that couldn't be a standard is beyond me. This one is gauges, which is kind of cool. It gives you battery voltage, engine hours, engine oil life remaining, which I forgot to reset because I just changed the oil yesterday. So there's another kind of perk. You're getting a fresh oil change. Transmission fluid temp, and back to battery volts. Obviously, I see it's a little difficult to see, but on the 04s, it seemed like later on, I think 07, maybe 08s, things started to become standard just because I suppose they figured, hey, we're not going to be making these anymore, and now we got to get rid of some things. And what I'm pointing out is the trim ring on the vents. That wasn't a common standard in the first how many years. It just, I don't know, I think it adds a little class to the car. Otherwise, it really is just a monotone, dark black, light gray, charcoal, graphite, whatever you want to call it, interior. So that is on all the vent rings. And then while I'm highlighting that too, let me grab the light so I can see. On the door handle, that is also the chrome trim ring that was added, and that's added on all 4 doors. And then also which is Ted. This usually was kind of bumpy ridge, same color as this. This is an add-in, not quite chrome door inlay, and then on the other side, just adds a little flash. I like it. And the other thing, if I can zoom in on the door handles or the door knobs, those are usually plain Jane. Those are actually chrome. They're called little chromies, and they're not cheap. I wish I could probably take them out. Maybe I will. But those are actually pretty expensive. So between the little chromies, the insert there, those, and the vents, I'm honestly guessing you could be approaching $100 just on replacing those with something that looks a little nicer. Obviously, I'm not going to get $100 usually extra out of it. I just want to point things out like that. I took a lot of care with this car and try to add a little style, so you're going to get a nice looking car. Back to why this is here actually. 04 it was not standard to be able to shut the passenger airbag off. So this whole, the 5-button information center along with the bezel came out of 05 or newer, but what I'm saying is the airbag on-off indicator was right here. Well, now you either have that or a blank hole. So had that on, found that on eBay. It says, if you can see it, GT. Thought it looked pretty cool sitting under there. We'll move down from there. I know the light is really bright, but unless I did this during the daylight, I guess when I'm sleeping. This is, you'll have to let me know when you offer a price on the car. There's a lot of things you'll have to let me know. Are you including a price for stereo? And I'll try to point out what I'm talking about, or the items I'm talking about, because a lot of things I can resell or reuse, or if you're going to lowball me or dink around with price, I'm not going to mess with you. I don't have the time or the patience. And this is, again, a thing, at least the stereo I can reuse in the car that I'm getting. This is, see if I can get up on that one with some focus, a JVC KW AVX 830, which is capable of CD, DVD, Bluetooth. We'll turn it on quick and go through it, but it's a really nice head unit. The buttons on the bottom always stay blue, but you can change the background to focus. Jeez. Quite a few different colors. I stuck with red, being that the rest of the car is red. Ta-da! But it's kind of nice to change it up between blues, and you can do green, purples, and brown, black, yellow, orange, and actually different kind of backgrounds. So different effects and an earth look, all kinds of stuff. You can play with that if you end up buying it. But I use it for Bluetooth mostly. I used to use the DVD player when I'd have breaks at work. Or other times it's nice when the wife is running into a store or something, and you can continue on a movie or something, and over enough stops in a day you can watch quite a bit of it. So this is what it shows. Tuner, obviously disc, there'd be a DVD option, Bluetooth, AV in, where you can hook up almost anything else. This also has the iPod controller also hooked up to it. That was an add-on feature that I had to also buy, where you can control your iPod controls from the actual head unit. So the connection I have tucked in underneath, but if you wanted to, you could tuck it in the glove box. Oops, why are you doing that? Go to something that's going to be quiet, or just turn it off. You can control the head unit or the iPod controls from the screen, just like the up, down, left, right, as far as how that works. We're just going to shut you off for now. As I turned on the other lights, or the parking lamps, I did add some lights to the all vents basically have a you want to call it mood lighting, whatever. Those are always on with the parking lamps. This video actually kind of shows it maybe brighter than it maybe actually is, but they're all mounted on the top of the vents, and they shine down, so there's no direct light coming at you, which I think it's nice. Just a little ambient lighting. Down in the map compartments of the doors is also another small LED. And as you can see over there that the door is open, I added what they call the ghost lights, I think it is, on eBay. They are directly hooked up to the door, drilled in anyways. They're not the stick-on ones. They usually had the nice Pontiac arrowhead, and it was red, and the arrowhead, and it looked really cool. And apparently those images fade over time, or over a very quick amount of time. So a little sad that that doesn't show up anymore, but it's still cool that when you open the door, it's not as bright on this side because there's a light right above it, but like you see on this side, it's shining some light kind of a puddle light, so at least you can see where you're stepping, and just some extra light. Maybe other cars that fly by when you're parking or something can see you. The mirror I added, it was just a plain Jane mirror. I will say though, for some reason, no matter what position you put it in, it's always on. So you do have map lights, but you get the quick, and obviously I'm going to fail right now, but you get the quick hang of it where if you put the switch in the middle, and I am not doing a very good job right now, but it shuts off. But at least you got something. The mirrors were non-illuminated, and I added mirrors with illumination when I added the mirror. Make sure there's nothing else on the dash. I, as far as I know, am the first person in 04 newer Grand Prix to install a heads-up display aftermarket. This is the stock unit though, but it wasn't hard to really figure out. You did have to drill in the dash a little bit, cut the hole, but it had all the pieces are stock. And what the head, if you've never seen a heads-up display, which was, it's been a little, not common, but it's been, Chevy's been throwing it on some other vehicles newer, but at one point the Grand Prix and the Corvette were the only cars that came with heads-up display. Odd, but it's really cool displaying your speed and what gear you're in, direction and temp, and there's your blinker, and it'll show you, if I had the lights all the way on, it'll show you the high beams if those are on. You can, with a button that's down by the shifter, turn off the temp. That park will eventually, or your gear will eventually disappear once you are moving, but you can take away the temp and the direction. When one more press is called stealth mode, and it shuts off your dash lights, which then if you zoom out, and you can actually turn down all your other lights, you can be going down, it can be almost completely dark inside, and you can still see your speed with that. So turn the other lights on, turn dash lights back on, and that moves up and down, and then also it has a rotary dial, which you can shut totally off, and then brighter, dimmer, so pretty cool. And I know I highlighted in the exterior video, but with the Viper two-way LCD, in case you didn't know anything about these, it's besides the lock-unlock trunk and remote start aspect, what's really cool, especially in winter, is if you're running into the gas station or something, you can actually remote start the car, and once that's triggered, you can pull the key out, lock it, and walk in the store while your vehicle is running and locked and secured, which is really nice. And that also works really good in winter, or summer also, to keep your car still cool anyways. And as you can see, it shows up purple in video, but it is blue. They are almost 10 2-inch round blue LED. Actually old truck lights, because back in the day you didn't have options for really any blue lights, but these have lasted and worked great. They are triggered when you open the door, but also installed, once we get down to the shifter part, there's in your cigarette ashtray that, sorry if you're a smoker, you're not going to be able to use that anymore. There's 3 switches. Middle one is for extra lights, and being that the other garage lights are on, it's a little hard to see, but they're usually positioned so you can't see the light. So the other ones would shut off, obviously, and then when you want some ambient lighting when you're driving, those are blue LED, not LED strips, but actually the COB panels. They're really bright, but not super annoying, so yeah, we'll leave them on for the fun of it. Hey, there's 3 switches. What are the other 2? Top one, I don't know if you can hear that, but that triggers the massage and heat for the passenger seat. So hopefully if you have that special, I'm assuming if this is a guy or, well, girl, if you got that special other significant other that rides, I know my wife always turns that on when she gets in. bottom switch is for the driver's side massage. There's a controls down here, which I can't dig out right now, but it has a little heating pad. It wasn't quite enough for me. So along with that switch being on, that also gives juice to this switch, which I know it's hard to see because I'm holding the camera and the switch. But there's a high, low, and medium, so there's an extra heating element in the driver's seat only to get it nice, super hot, or super warm, which has been, I know it has been super cold out, but it's nice to be able to flip that on, and within a short amount of time when you're driving down the road, these leather seats are nice and warm. So then I guess I didn't cover that before, but that's the point. When you get up to here, if you do any research, if it had leather seats, it would have a switch on both sides. Why doesn't it have the switch? Well, because this car came with cloth seats. Found some leather seats for a full complete set, I think, for $500. And I love leather. This would be my second leather conversion. I have a 2000 Grand Prix that I did a leather conversion, and the heads-up display install, and all kinds of similar things. So it's not terribly hard to do. It's pretty much just swapping out the pieces. But the problem is with that is the stock heat seats, you don't have the control source, so that's why there's an added. I installed the massage for one, and then also the extra heating element. Not much to see really in the back except the car seat, but it's leather back there also. If I got out, I would show you. I take care of it. It's a tad dirty right now. I've been super busy, but I take care of my stuff. These leather seats are in great shape. There's no rips, tears. They're in great shape. I use some good quality products to keep them in good shape, along with dash piece and everything else. I do some auto detailing on the side, and I take care of my own vehicle. So, trying to think of what I haven't covered yet. Maybe, obviously too bright to really see too much, but there's also the other interior LEDs. This is one of those parts where I can use them on another vehicle. So if you're going to dick around with me, these are the kind of things that I'm going to start taking out. You know, back in this LED panel, it's like I'm not going to give away $10, $12 LED panel, and then another one over here and another one over there, and it's like, well, if I can reuse them, why should I give them to you if you're not going to offer me a good price? So keep that in mind. I have two different kinds of floor mats. Floor mats didn't come with the vehicle. I've now 3 vehicles in a row I've had to buy floor mats. Don't understand it, but whatever. A little hard to see, but the ones I have installed now, which I don't know why I haven't switched over, but right now are the Lloyd custom embroidered cloth, or fabric mats. These are super nice. They feel, I know you wear shoes and all, but you feel a softness. They're just top quality, and a full set, which I do have with the embroidery, usually is over $100. So keep that in mind when you're offering a price. I guess if you want floor mats, kind of keep that in mind. Otherwise, you could be like me and get a car without floor mats. So right now they're the same, similar color with red embroidery that says Grand Prix. I know it's a little hard to see, but trust me. The other set are, I forget the brand, but they are this. I believe they're actually factory, like GM aftermarket, actual GM aftermarket part. So they're custom fit, the same size as this mat, but they're the rubbery kind of WeatherTech type. That's great for winter. I just keep forgetting to dig them out and put them on the floor. But I have the front set of those only. Being I usually don't get too many rear passengers, I keep the Lloyd rear mats in. And those mats, again, are not cheap either. So if you want both sets, great. Make sure you're offering a decent price. If you're not, I have plenty of people that would certainly take those floor mats. Not a problem. If you've done any research on Grand Prix, we are a huge community, and there's plenty of people willing to buy aftermarket parts. Highlighted the light. There's the other ambient lighting down there. Obviously, it's a little bright when you look at it that way, but from my angle, just provides a little light. It's kind of nice. Guess highlighted that. Radio, Viper, lighting in the seats. I'm probably forgetting something, but about the only other thing maybe to highlight would be the rear seat does fold down. A little difficult when you got car seats in the back, but it's like a 60-40 fold down. I have gotten, as long as you have some kind of protection for your dash, you can get, with that path or fold down seat, you can get 8-foot 2x4s in this car. Actually, without a problem. You're not going to get a ton of them, but they will sit up on the dash. I always carry a extra blanket with actually a kind of a fold-out protector for if I ever have to haul around something dirty in the back. But you throw that up on the dash so you don't scratch out the dash or some dash piece, and you can actually get 8-foot 2x4s in this car pretty easily. You can get 10-foot pieces of PVC pipe also in here too. Obviously, they bend a little easier than the 2x4s, but 10-footers will fit in here. So that door, the other little cool features of the Grand Prix, it's not all the way open, or no, excuse me, it's the back door. It's not all the way open right now, but they actually fold or open all the way like this versus, I guess I left it like that to show you most cars maybe fold, come out just a tad more. And it's actually, sometimes it's hard to get things in and out, or even if you want to get your big butt in here to get your kid in here. I don't know why they didn't make more cars like this Grand Prix. This actually swings all the way open, which has been beneficial a couple times. I was able to fit a huge box of a lawnmower bagger box in this back seat, and that was only capable because that door swung all the way open. The box barely fit, which is great because of the space, but I would have never got it in if that door didn't swing all the way open. So that's pretty cool. Get the light out of the way. The other cool part is with the cloth seats, this is not capable. But with the leather, get that out of the way. There's a lever on the back, and the front seat folds all the way down. So whether you're getting those 2x4s in or something, maybe a tad shorter, but it would sit on top of here. This is great. And sometimes I just randomly, if I want to, sometimes your seat doesn't hold things all that nicely, but if you want to put something flat up here, or maybe you'll work in your car, this is perfect for setting a computer down or other miscellaneous, a little cubby for that. Or also what is great is when you got a kid in the car seat, they're not kicking the back of this seat when the seat is down. And even if it is up, at least it's this plastic instead of the leather, so if anything, this is a little easier to clean off. Again, the door inserts on the back side and the chromies up there. Yeah, just looking around. I'll put in the description also, but there are aftermarket speakers, aftermarket kicker speakers in the front. I think they're 5 1/4. I forget, I've done it. It was done a couple of years ago, but sounds so much nicer, especially with an aftermarket head unit. Kickers in the front door, and I forget at the moment what 6x9s are in the back deck lid. But aftermarket speakers everywhere. And then also this car has, I think, sorry, because I haven't had subs in here for a while because I had to use the trunk for trunk purposes, so I had to take the subs out for a while, and I just never put them back in. But this car is also wired with 2 or 4 gauge wire for subs and amps. So if that's something that you want, it's pre-wired, for the most part, ready to go. You might have to run a new ground wire, I think, but at least the wire is run for that. So again, keep in mind, there's some things in this car I can reuse, that being one of them. I would like to get a new one, but I don't need to. So make sure that you're offering the price that you offer is for those things. I don't know if I highlighted in the exterior video, but I'll be mentioning there's two different types of aftermarket rims that'll be available. So make sure that if you comment if it's something you're interested in now or later, or if that's what the price is that you're including. One thing I did forget here, those are actually GXP pedals versus just the plain old black pedals that come with everything else, the bullet look or satin or whatever you want to call it. But the brake pedal is embossed with GXP. It's just hard to see with the light shining on it. And then that they do just plain have a nicer feel to them, and they look pretty cool too, I think. That was another extra $50, so that would not be hard to remove and resell if that is the road that we'd be going down, if you're gonna try to get this car as cheap as possible. So with that, please comment or ask questions. If you have anything further, please see both videos and read the description. That should really cover just about every single question possible. I just, like I said, just did an oil change. I went through the fluids to make sure everything was looking good there. I'll comment, I did do what they call a super flush in the radiator, flush and fill. Shouldn't have any problems with that for hopefully a long time. Everything else has been topped off or made sure it was in its proper level. And hopefully we'll be speaking with you soon. Thanks for watching.